Hey team, this is Nathan from RunDreamAchieve.com. Today's topic and focus is to discuss what it takes to break a sub 35-minute 10K. And to do that, you need to be able to sustain 538 mile pace for 6.2 miles or 330 per kilometer for 10 kilometers straight. No breaks in between each one of those intervals. So it's definitely a very competitive time, very fast time. My own background with this event, I've run 31:09 for 10 kilometers, and it takes a great deal of patience and speed development and the ability to focus for a long period of time over a consistent period of time in order to break 35 minutes for 10 kilometers. You have to have a combination of both speed as well as strength and stamina, and you have to work on your endurance. And to run this fast, you definitely have to have a very strong aerobic base, having build that base first before you start moving into doing track sessions and doing intervals and long runs. Always focus first when you're preparing for any 10-kilometer event, especially if you're trying to go under 35 minutes. First, focus on building those easy base miles first. Don't just jump into doing, repeat 1200s on the track or repeat Ks on the roads. To run 538 mile pace 6 consecutive times or 330 per kilometer for 10 kilometers, you're going to have that endurance built first, and then you have to start working on your speed and specific training where you're training at, near, or far below 538 mile pace or 330 per K pace. Focus first on the base mileage first and building that endurance base, and then start working on your speed. My training plans on RunDreamAchieve.com are 16 weeks in length. I also have courses built for athletes that are trying to run a specific time such as this. So definitely check those out. Check out the resources below these videos, all my videos. But the things I want you all to keep in mind as you move toward training for a sub 35-minute 10K is when you're very anaerobically fit, after you've built that base, that easy, relaxed base mileage, preferably about 4 to 8 weeks of easy, relaxed base mileage, then start working on specific training. And what I focus on with the training plans on RunDreamAchieve.com is workouts like 1 mile, repeat 1 miles on the track or on the roads, running repeats right around 505 to 520 per rep. Early on in the training phase, we focus on 3 minutes to 4 minutes of recovery because you're not as anaerobically fit. You need more time to recover from each anaerobic effort that you're doing either on the track or on the roads. And as you get fitter, as your body adapts to these hard anaerobic workouts you're doing, the focus moves more toward increasing the pace and dropping the rest in between each one of those repetitions. Again, the key to breaking 35 minutes for 10 kilometers is to teach the body to clear lactic acid faster than it's building up and to minimize the slowdown effect in the race. That's what athletes all around the world are trying to do when they're trying to run a fast time like a sub 35-minute 10K, is minimizing lactic acid buildup and to be able to sustain their race pace for a longer period of time. All of us are going to hurt in a race. It doesn't matter how fit we are anaerobically or aerobically. When you go into a race, you have to be able to sustain pace for longer and more effectively and more efficiently than your competition. So the types of workouts we focus on is longer durations at your anaerobic threshold. So you do longer tempo runs. Again, you don't just start off doing 8 to 10 mile tempo runs. First, focus on 2 to 3 miles. When you're not as anaerobically fit, focus on running 2 to 3 miles at your anaerobic threshold, and then as your body adapts, which takes about 3 to 4 weeks for your body to adapt to any stress load that you're placing on it, then start branching out and distancing and spending more time at your anaerobic threshold, because to break a 35-minute 10K, you not only need speed, but you also need that strength and stamina that come from doing longer duration tempo runs. A big problem a lot of athletes have is they're not spending enough time at their anaerobic threshold, and they're running too many of their miles or too many of their kilometers each week too slow. Again, it's very easy to run easy, relaxed mileage, but it's an art form to run fast over a long period of time. I mean, we all can even run fast for a short period of time, but to run fast over long periods of time, it takes time, it takes patience. And doing tempo runs for a longer period of time, training it for longer durations at your anaerobic threshold will make you a stronger 10-kilometer athlete. And again, you need to hold 5:38 mile pace or 3:30 per kilometer pace for this distance. That is not an easy task. You have to focus on building that strength and stamina that those longer tempo runs will do. I always emphasize the importance of getting beyond just running long, slow, and easy every single weekend for your long runs. Long runs that are run very easy are still very important, but also you want to make sure that you're spending time also running at faster paces during these long runs, because you want to teach the body also to burn fat at race pace. That doesn't come about by running easy aerobic running. That comes about by more very paced, faster efforts, whether it's tempo runs, whether it's long runs, whether it's the speed training you're doing. That part of your preparation is going to make you much more stronger when it comes to 10 kilometers, racing 10 kilometers, rather than just running 10 kilometers. And the workouts that you need to be focused on, and again, we do 1 mile repetitions, we do repeat 800s, focused on running them when we're not as anaerobically fit, right around 235 to 240. When we're very fit, the athlete is focused on doing those repeat 800s right around 228 to 232 to 234, right around that range. Again, the recovery is more, you get more recovery in the early stages of the 16-week buildup. And as the athlete gets fitter, the focus is to increase the pace, lower the recovery between each one of the reps. Because again, we focus on to break a sub 35-minute 10K, holding 5:38 mile pace for 6.2 miles or 3:30 per kilometer for 10 kilometers. You have to work on that speed. So it's about pushing the body hard anaerobically, minimizing the amount of rest that you're giving yourself between each one of those reps, and getting to a point where you can sustain pace better than you did in the past. And again, if you haven't broken 35 minutes for 10 kilometers yet, look at what you've been doing in the past. Have you been running too many miles too slow? Look at your tempo runs. How long are those tempo runs? Are they 2 to 3 miles in length, or are they 5 to 8 miles in length? Are they longer duration tempo runs? To break 35 minutes, you have to be in great anaerobic shape. You have to also be very strong mentally. And what these tough workouts do, whether they're long runs, whether you're doing repeat 400s on the track, that will toughen you mentally as well, because you have to get used to pain. You have to get used to what it feels like to run at very fast paces. You have to get used to running much, much faster than sub 35-minute 10K pace. That is another key to breaking this barrier. It's not an easy task. There's no question about it. You're going after a very, very competitive time. There is nothing easy about this process, as you already know. But if you spend more time running down closer to around 440 mile pace, or closer down toward 3 flat, or around 245 to 3 flat per kilometer pace, think how easy 330 per kilometer pace or 5:38 mile pace is going to feel. Again, it's not an easy task. You're only going to be able to spend a few seconds to a few minutes running at these types of paces. But that being said, if you are patient enough and you allow your body time to adapt to these workouts you're doing, you're going to break a 35-minute 10K. Again, I think some of the other types of workouts that you really need to be focused on, especially when you're extremely fit, focus on doing repeat 200s right around 37 to 38 seconds per rep, 10 to 12 repetitions. Early on, when you're not quite as fit, give yourself around 90 seconds rest, 90 seconds to 2 minutes rest per 200. And then as you increase your anaerobic fitness, you become much more physically ready, mentally ready, then focus on giving yourself less rest, right around 60 seconds rest. The same goes for like repeat 400s. Start off when you're not quite as fit, doing those reps around 120 to 124 per rep. And as you get, much more anaerobically fit, then start focus on running between 114 and 117 to 118 range, right around there. Early on, give yourself 2 minutes rest. When you're extremely fit, focus on giving yourself minimal rest, right around 60 seconds per rep. So again, it's about progression. The focus is to break a 35-minute. Focus on periodization. Periodization in training, we focus on a specific intensity for a specific amount of time, right around 3 weeks, because again, it takes about 21 days, right around 3 weeks for your body to adapt to any stress load you're placing on it. So once your body adapts to that intensity, then we move to the next intensity. We focus the next 3 weeks on that intensity. There's a 10-day taper in all of my training plans, and the running courses that I teach, we focus on a 10-day taper rather than 3 weeks. Start dropping your volume and your intensity 10 days out from your race, your main race, rather than starting to drop out 3 weeks out. You're going to feel much more energized, much more motivated, because you continue to repeat and continue to remind your legs of what you're training them to do up until 10 days out from your main race, that main 10K that you're going for 34:59 at. So this is another tactic that I think will help athletes around the world that are trying to break the 35-minute 10K. In the fact that, again, you don't start dropping your volume and your intensity until 10 days out. The way I train my athletes online is we drop right around between 55 and 60% 10 days out in terms of mileage, 10 days out from the main race. That again, we continue to focus on training the athlete to prepare to run at paces that are at, near, or far below sub 35-minute 10K pace up until 10 days out. 10 days of recovery and rest is plenty of time to recover and taper down for your main 10K effort, where you're wanting to go 34:59 at. So these are just some areas of focus I want you all to be thinking about when you're going after a sub 35-minute 10K. Continue to focus on doing those strides on your easy days. Again, they're too short to build up any lactic acid, but you're still focusing on your form and accelerations, short accelerations. And what's great about those strides is because you're able to do those 4 to 6 100-meter strides before, during, or even after your easy days, easy runs. You're focusing, again, on speed development, short accelerations, and you're doing those types of workouts, those very short types of workouts, on top of all the other workouts you're doing. Track sessions, tempo runs, longer tempo runs, long runs, varied pace long runs. All of these things combined over a 16-week block of training will ensure your success in breaking a sub 35-minute 10K. Again, I commend you for trying to go after this time. I know you'll be able to do it eventually if you're not quite there yet. Again, be patient. This is not an easy time. This is a very competitive 10-kilometer time for sure. And I think if you do these things, if you focus on longer paced tempo runs, longer duration tempo runs, longer paced, very paced long runs, focus on that 10-day taper, and continue to work on your speed and training at, near, and far below sub 35-minute 10K pace, you're going to break this barrier. Continue to visualize yourself running 34:59. You have to continue to visualize yourself doing it before you break that barrier in reality. It has to start here. It always starts here. But we all focus so heavily on physical training that we neglect the bigger piece of the puzzle, which is mental preparation, mental rehearsal. So continue to focus on that piece, because I guarantee you, your competition is more than likely neglecting it. So you have to do the opposite of what most people are doing. Everybody focuses on physical training, and yes, you do have to train hard physically, but you have to train mentally as well. So I hope this video was helpful for you. Leave me a comment below if you have any questions. Give me a like if you can. I'd appreciate it. It helps the channel grow and more people to see these videos. And if there's anything else I can help you out with the 10K, whether you're trying to break 35-minute 10K or you're trying to break 50 minutes or an hour or 30 minutes, whatever it is, reach out to me and let me know. I wish you all the best, and I will talk to you all in the next video.